So more and more people are just joining as we go along. Exactly, Mike. Exactly. Yeah, it's there's reason for the messiness, trying to pull a few things from different locations together. So it's serving a function at the moment. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have this routine. So we've got it scheduled in for the rest of this week, and then we'll see what happens beyond then. Do have some holiday to take, but actually we'll see. Hi, Katrina. Yeah, no problem at all. It's nice to just put something out there that I'll be doing anyway, but just obviously verbalize it a little bit more and guide it a little bit more. I think one of the key things about doing something like this is to show people that mindfulness isn't about necessarily doing more sophisticated things. It's more about doing the foundational practices, but just tailoring them over the years to what works best for you, and having the confidence, really, I suppose, like now, being in a different situation, different routine, to be able to use those same foundational practices, but just in a new emergent situation. And I think that's for some people that draws them to mindfulness. Okay, so actually there's there's some basic practices and techniques, and don't get me wrong, you can go really deep into the meditative spiritual side if you wanted to, or you could go back the other way and sort of bring in lots and lots of in the moment techniques during a day. But in essence, the basic journey is always the same one. It's about bringing the mind to now, however we want to do that. And once we have that awareness of now, it's about trying to make some positive change. And as we said before, sometimes making a positive change means doing something differently. But sometimes making a positive change might be leaving things the way they are. Resisting the urge to change just for the sake of it. Or sometimes making a positive change is not doing anything. Backing away, letting things be. So what that positive change looks like is very unique to us in our individual moments that we have. But that process is always the same, whether I'm working with people with anxiety problems, or teaching students in classes, or working with athletes or actors such as I've had. The process is always the same. And so that's nice that we can share those basic processes. And hopefully, certainly if you've done courses with me, and I'm just developing this for next term's online ones as well, really to move a bit more towards the how do we make this relevant for ourselves? What does it look like for us? And how can we have the confidence to take the direction that we need to take? But yeah, there's no deeper hidden secret of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the state that we're creating, where that state takes us. Wow, that can be as deep and mysterious and as interesting as you want it to be, or it might just be getting through every day. Thank you very much. So it's a bit interesting when people talk about what mindfulness is. Is it meditation? Well, meditation is a vehicle to get you into the mindful state, but not the only one. Is mindfulness a lifestyle or a spiritual pathway? If you want it to be, that once you start to create and to cultivate the state of mindfulness, your journey may well take you in that direction. It might not. And so there's a big debate still going on about, well, what do we actually mean by mindfulness with a capital M? The field of mindfulness, modern mindfulness. And so there's a lot of sort of wrestling going on to find out what mindfulness is and where it's going. So only a young field, of course, in itself, as we're doing it, has ancient roots, of course. Some of those benefit us now, and in some ways they act as barriers too. So just wrestling with that relationship as well. So yeah, so I think I say this a lot on my courses, so forgive me if you've heard this before, but if you've not been with me on any courses, next 10, 15 years going to be very exciting for mindfulness. There will be lots and lots of opportunity, and how it navigates that is going to be very interesting too. Okay, so we've got some ups and downs on the participant numbers. That may be people dropping out, coming back in if the internet's not working so well. So we'll move into making a bit more of a start for the meditation today. So good to remember what day it is, isn't it? But we're on a Tuesday. And so yesterday we did a bit of work, which was, okay, so how do I prep my mind? How do I get into a mindset that says, yes, I've got certain things scheduled. I've got an agenda here for the week. But also, how do I make sure I'm not filling the cup with those things or other worries around those things? How can we make sure I've still got some capacity to deal with the emergent things that will undoubtedly come up? I'm sure, as I've had, you've already had things pop up that you couldn't plan for. Hey, Richard. And so that's a nice thing to do at the start of the week. We're into Tuesday now. So normally on a Tuesday, just getting into the normal routine. So just doing a bit of the foundational practices again. And we'll do some of those today, just trying to rest into a mindful state that we create and just do a bit of work on the mind will wander away to things we've got left to do today and in the week, and just gently bringing it back, trying to enjoy a mindful break in the day. And that's nice to do. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we get back to the kind of energizing one, normally in the midweek I like to do, which is just about, right, let's consolidate what we've done in the week so far and then look forward to finishing the week off as well. So some foundational practices today. We'll do the noticing now, as we always do, always the starting point, the natural breath, the mindful breath, bringing some attitudes that we want to cultivate, a bit of a body scan, resting then into a nice relaxed mindful state, and just seeing if we can sink into that for a nice 5 minutes at the end of today, just to ground us, just to give us some balance before we go on and do whatever else we're doing today. So just as we always do, if you want to find a comfortable position wherever you are right now, just making sure you're happy in your personal space. Remember, it's good to think of this as protected time. So hopefully that's protected externally. But also remember, it's our mind that often wants to wander away, that wants to interrupt this mindful state. So we have to try to move away from that, to allow the state to come, allow ourselves to rest into it. And that's exactly what we'll do now. So closing the eyes straight away today if you like to, but if you want to keep them open or open them at any time, of course you do that. But let's take that very first step, noticing now what's going on around us. And we've been using sound, we've been using texture, we've been using temperature. So play around with different things. But for the next few moments, just try to notice what's going on around you right now. So try to push your awareness into the features of whatever's going on around you right now. But letting go of commentary, of analysis, of judgment. Pushing ourselves into the experiences of moment to moment awareness. Remembering that these background experiences, background sounds and feelings, textures, are always there for us to come back to if we feel that the mind is wandering away too much. They can be our anchor points. And they're good to have because they're external, so they'll bring the mind back to the here and now. But of course, our next step is to notice how we are right here, right now. And we've been using the natural breath, because it shows us our natural rhythm of being right now. So let's do that. Let's just notice our natural rhythm of breathing. Try not to change it, try not to interfere with it. We're just noticing its pace and its depth. Noticing the rise and fall of the body with the natural breath. You might find just by noticing your natural breath rhythm that everything else begins to slow down too. So if you notice that, let it be. Particularly the shoulders tend to start to drop and relax as we're grounded in our own rhythm. Sounds come and go. The mind notices them, but it doesn't need to analyze them or commentate on them. This natural breath rhythm is great for building a sense of one of my favorite sayings, which is, if you can be at home in yourself, you'll be at home anywhere. So let's see if we can just be at home in our natural rhythm right now. And if and when the mind wanders away, don't be harsh on yourself. Don't worry, you're not doing it wrong. It's just a habit of the mind that we're shining a light on. We can accept it, we can be aware of it, but we can bring a positive change simply by bringing the mind back to now, back to noticing something around us or inside us. And it doesn't matter how many times we have to do that. In fact, the more we do it, the more the mind learns not to wander in the first place. But as I've said before, with a natural breath, there is a tendency for the mind to wander more. So that's why I always teach a mindful breath or an alternate breath. So if you've been with me before and you use the mindful breath rhythm, you can find that now. If not, it's just a deeper breath, around 4 or 5 seconds on the in-breath and on the out-breath. But actually, as long as it's a different breath to your natural one, it's a deeper breath. It's a more intentional and controlled breath. You can use any breath that you've used before. But as we change the breath, let's notice this change. Let's point the mind at the breath so there's less room for it to wander and worry away. Let's notice the features of this new breath. Maybe it sounds different to the natural one. Notice how it feels for you right now. Maybe an energizing breath, maybe a relaxing breath, maybe a deep cleansing breath. As long as it's comfortable for you, it's fine. And if it's not comfortable, just change it. Just make it a bit shorter. Let's notice the way the body is moving now with the new breath. This new rhythm of being that we've brought right now. And let's see if we can be at home in ourselves with this new rhythm. Just relaxing into it. Giving ourselves permission to slow down and to let go of the things we don't need to be thinking about right now. Just letting go of schedules and agendas and to-do lists for now. We'll pick that back up later if we need to. Let's just grow our sense of acceptance right now of ourselves, the things and people around us, and of each moment as it comes and goes. We're just an observer here. Just slowing the mind, body and emotions, accessing this state of restful alertness, bringing the mind back as always when it wanders. And of course we now have the new breath that we're using as an anchor point too. We can always come back to that when we notice the mind has wandered away. Now let's just remove any tension from the body before we then rest deeper into this relaxed, mindful state. As we've done before on a shorter meditation, it's nice just to do a top half and bottom half scan. Let's start with the bottom half. Just noticing parts of the body. See where your mind goes first. Mine's just gone to my cold toes. So I can notice those. I don't need to commentate. I don't need to analyze. I don't need to moan about them. I can simply let them be. But if you do find anywhere in the lower half of the body that's got some tension, just spend a few deep out breaths trying to release that tension away. And we could do the same with the top half of the body, as we do, paying particular attention to the shoulders and to the back of the neck too. But anywhere else that you feel would benefit from a few breaths, just to help it to relax a little more, we can take those now. And then it's resting on the forehead, as we always do at the end of a body scan. Just relaxing the facial muscles, letting go of any frowning or grimacing we may be doing. And just trying to let go of any lingering headache, worry or tension. Let's try to be as relaxed as possible. Whatever that looks like for you right here, right now. And let's now just notice our whole rhythm of being again, keeping the bigger breath that we're using as the center of our rhythm. As we've said during this practice, let's see if we can get comfortable in this rhythm, if we can be at home in it. a state where hopefully we've got some relaxation in the mind, body, and emotions. But our awareness is still turned up high. It's noticing things that come and go in each moment. And if and when it wanders away, we're simply bringing it back and noticing again. And for the final few minutes of today, let's enjoy some quiet time, just being in these moments for no other reason than we want to experience them. And I'll come in every now and again with a few pointers, a few reminders. Just see if you can allow yourself today to rest deeper into this state. And as we do this, let's just remember that one of the philosophies of mindfulness is that if we're waiting for everything to be perfect before we enjoy a moment, we'll be waiting forever. So don't worry if you're not 100% relaxed. Of course, we're not going to be. But whatever degree of relaxation you have found, let's try to let it be and to let it grow, not to let negatives invade that space. Just enjoy it. Now let's begin to notice ourselves once again. Just noticing how it's been for us today, not in a judgmental way, just in an observation way. We try just to bring some balance to the day, to slow down, to let go. But it's not an all or nothing thing. We're trying to bring this as much as we can today. Some days we can do it more, some days less. But as we keep the practice going, over time, the more we'll be able to slow down, to let go, and to be here now. But as we begin to come out of the meditation, of course, we notice the breath again. Maybe you've kept the rhythm that you were using. Maybe you've lost it and it's gone back to its shorter, shallower rhythm. No worries, no judgments. That's simply where the breath is now. We can reconnect with it. We can find our bigger breath once more. We can notice again the features of this breath. And we can use it to bring the mind back to the waking state, just by taking a few slightly quicker breaths. Raising the awareness, open your eyes, have a stretch, a shuffle, a drink, whatever else you might need your end. Just coming back to your normal waking state. Hopefully, you managed just to take some protected time out of the day. I hope that was okay for you. We've got the chat, we'll keep that open for another few minutes. So if anybody wants to post anything, please do. Hopefully you've come back out of the practice okay. Brilliant, thank you, Richard. I think one of the key things we did in that practice at the end was this concept of impermanence in the mindfulness philosophy, the fact that every moment is unique. We have patterns of moments, of course. We have habits, which means moments and our experiences of them are going to be similar. We have expectations, which often mean that we're priming ourselves to experience something in a certain way. And so we're closing doors to other experiences. So we have all of these things which mean that each moment, although it is unique, it is already kind of coloured, it's flavoured, if you like, in a certain way for each of us. But the more we can sort of move beyond those expectations, those habits, those flavourings, the more each new moment has endless possibilities. That's a really nice thing about mindfulness. Particularly as I've worked with clients over the years who have got anxiety problems or other problems. Often the door, all other options are closed. There's only one pathway. It's the same one I've been down many, many times. And then as soon as people get to the point where they go, well, actually, maybe there's other responses here. There's other things I can do here. There's other pathways available to me. It's a real great moment because it really just allows people to, what we call a cognitive alternative in psychology. It just opens doors and hope springs back in. And it's a great moment. But for us, it's nice just to do that bit at the end and say, okay, how was it for us today? Sometimes the mind is busy, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the body is relaxed, sometimes it's not. But that comment I made, it's not an all or nothing thing, is really important because that will then lead to a judgment. So it's nice just to think about it as that was the experience today. The more I shine a light on it, the more I'm in that experience, noticing it, then actually the more I'll transcend it and move to where I want to be with it. Often people come to mindfulness and they want to get as quick as they can to the second step, which is making the positive change. And of course, that's what we want, yes. But if we don't take the time to sort of navigate and stumble through the first bit, then actually, we're getting further away from the second step. And often people make judgments on it doesn't work for me, or I don't believe in this is often a one. Or people say, no, it's me, I can't do it, my mind's too busy. And these are often common things, but they're all things that are really looking at the second step before the first step. The first step accepts, hey, my mind's busy sometimes. But actually by looking at it, by moving away from thoughts I don't need right now, I can calm it, I can create some space. So it's a nice bit of philosophy to take out into everyday life as well. Things aren't binary. It's not either a great moment or a terrible moment, as things are in our society, particularly through the media. Most of life happens in that middle area. Yeah, I've got some good things going on. I've got some difficulties too. And that's one thing, if you've been with me before, I often say this as a sort of phrase. Mindfulness is great because it helps us to navigate the difficulties, but it also helps us to engage in and accept and enjoy the positives too. Because for both of those things, we need present-centered awareness. Of course, that's what we're doing here. So great stuff. Thank you so much for today as well. And I'll fill about with the recording and get that online ASAP. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and we're scheduled back if you want to join us midday tomorrow. And for the rest of this week, certainly we'll do that there. Hobbs, thanks. Yes, it's a lovely saying, be at home with yourself and you'll be at home anywhere. Again, the first step of that, though, is being at home with ourselves, isn't it? Often people want to get straight to the second step. Okay, yes, I'd love to be confident and comfortable in any moment you can throw me in. But that's the second step. What about being comfortable with ourselves? Maybe there's a nice thing for us to think about for the rest of today. Let's see if we can be as comfortable as possible in our own skin, in our own surroundings, being a positive influence on ourselves, on those surroundings and other people. Let's see what difference that might make today. Lovely. Thanks, everybody. Take care of yourselves. All the best, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot.